currently working at Lucid Insights. It's a startup company in Adelaide. So currently we are using SQL Server Management Studio, and also we use Power BI to do the visualizations and stuff like that. We use the Azure Synapse in order to build the pipelines and in order to transfer the data from the respective databases to the data warehouse. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It was a hard toil for me in order to get there, and yeah, even after getting there, I still have that enthusiasm in order to learn new stuff and in order to achieve big. So yeah, it's challenging, but at the same time, I'm loving the challenge. One day I was sitting in my room and I started thinking that my life is going nowhere. So I told myself that I am the only person who can change my life. No one else can do that. So at that point in time, I started looking at some of the Australian universities, and one of my cousin also lives here in Melbourne. So yeah, I applied for the university and ultimately got an offer. So after talking to my cousin, like, I prepared myself well, because he told me that life would be entirely different after coming here. You can't even expect it, because you have to start doing each and every single task on your own without depending on your parents. That was challenging, and that was also daunting at that time, because thinking of it made me a little nervous. However, yeah, I took it as a challenge and I came here, and after that, rest is what have happened in the last 2 years. I think it's the lifestyle maybe that drove me to come to Australia, and also Australian universities are well reputed across the world for their education. The education system is pretty good here. My experience was also really good. I really loved each and every single day. Yeah, I never had this kind of a feeling back from India. There is a lot of difference in the way education is taught in Australia compared to India. So I felt that was a good change, and I really loved it. I had a clear goal. I came up with a clear goal that I felt like I need to get a good job, and for that I need to study. I need to pursue my master's. So actually it was during the third year of my bachelor's where I was introduced to some of the data related concepts. So actually at that point in time, I realized that I had a special passion and interest towards data. So this passion towards data had actually gave me the motivation and driven me to the Master of Data Science. And my long-term goal was to secure a job after finishing my master's. So yes. Yeah, that's the only thing that I had in mind. But I know that I was also told that job market is really small compared to US. So I also had that in mind. And yeah, I worked hard for it. It was a bit of challenge. But luckily, ultimately, I found you, who helped me quite a lot during my tough times. Actually, I graduated from my degree, and my studies are almost over. So I was actually clueless. I thought of getting a job even before graduating, but I couldn't do that. And I think that was the point in time where I met you. Everything changed for me. I think having connections with other employees at different companies will be really helpful, because if you ask someone for a job straight away, then it would be really difficult for them to give you a job or even an interview offer. However, if you start by asking them if they have at least any internship opportunities at that point in time, then I think it would be pretty easy for them to go and talk to their HR and come back to you, because giving you a job might be a risky task for them. However, internship, there is a possibility of you getting a full-time opportunity if you perform well. So I think reaching out to employers at different organizations is a really good start. At least it will put you in that market. It will take you to the door, and yeah, maybe you might get the internship. Basically, I started applying for several opportunities that were posted on LinkedIn, especially. I never really opened Seek or Indeed. I thought LinkedIn was the best option, and I have been applying to different opportunities right after completing my first year of my master's. Some of them, I got responses from a few of them saying that I'm still in my master's. They wanted me to finish my master's first and then reapply. I felt like my time was getting a little wasted if I do that. But if I start after completing my master's, then it would really take another 4 to 5 months in order to securing that role. However, I wanted to get my first job, get into the industry as soon as I pass out from the university, because I felt like I never wanted to get that gap, because I know how painful it is if once you get a gap after your studies. So I just don't want to get that gap anymore. And I also started feeling nervous because I was about to complete my master's and I did not have any opportunity at that time. So yeah, it was kind of stressful at that point in time, and it ultimately took me 4 to 5 months after completing my master's in order to secure a job. I think I have applied to around 40-50 applications through LinkedIn, and I felt like there was something going wrong because I know that most of the applications need to have permanent residency or must be an Australian citizen to apply, because companies normally state that at the beginning of the application itself, that you can only apply for this role if you are a permanent resident or an Australian citizen. So, and I think most of the roles actually that were posted online actually has that statement. However, after getting in touch with you, I realized that there was another option, which is through connecting to the potential employers directly through LinkedIn or other means. And I think this step is the most important step for all the graduates, because if you apply directly, there would be 100 applications along with yours. So the employer might not even get the time to see your profile, and if you don't have any prior experience, this would make things even more worse. So I think it's really important for all the graduates to connect or to contact the employers directly. So this is extremely vital in securing your first job. After applying to maybe 50 applications, I felt like I was going terribly wrong with something, because I knew that if I had at least 4 to 5 interview opportunities, I would definitely crack either one of them, but I wasn't getting even that. So at that point in time, I realized that there was something going wrong with me, because the first thing is I don't have the permanent residency, and the second thing is my strategies are not working. So actually at that point in time, I met you and I realized that, yeah, maybe you might be the one who could help me. So once I started going through the materials, everything, I felt like it's the right way, right approach, because it has worked for many different students. I felt like, why doesn't it work for me? And then I started concentrating on the content. I finished the content within a month, I think so. And then I started applying again for other opportunities as well. Some of the employers were actually, at that point in time, some of them connecting with me. However, when I sent them a message, they were not replying back to me, which again made me a little disappointed. However, I can understand that they would be busy and most of them would not reply. So I persisted to that technique and it ultimately worked out. So I'll tell you all my story, like starting from connecting with the employer and my experience after getting the job. So after I spoke with you, I started reaching out to different employers. And you also told me that you had one of your clients who is currently working at Lucid Insights. I also reached out to CEO of the company. Darren called me for a quick chat. Yeah, and I attended the chat and we discussed about my goals and my passion. And after that, he went on to explain how's the company, what kind of work they are currently working on. And also he explained about some of his clients and his potential clients in the future. So he told me that at that time, he might not call me for an interview, but I think it was after 15 to 20 days, I received a call from him. He told me that one of his employees had got another offer and he had to leave the company. So he was actually looking for a good candidate who is trustworthy and who he also knows that he can perform well for that particular role. So he asked me if I could come up for an interview the next day itself. So this conversation happened at, I think it was around 6:30, and I was at another work, and he called me for an interview the next day morning at 7:30. So I had to call one of my friends to cover up my shift, and I had to rush back home so that I could have some time for myself to prepare for the interview. And I ultimately prepared for the interview. I attended the interview. So yeah, ultimately I got the offer. And after finishing my interview, I came back to my room, and I think it was after 2 hours, Darren called me and he told me that there was some bad news for me. I thought, I have been listening to the bad news since the last 2 years. That's fine. So then he laughed and he said that you are actually selected. I was just joking. He is a really good man. Yeah. I would also like to discuss about another opportunity. So I also contacted another employee from Deloitte. I think he's a senior manager in the data analytics department. So he received me with open arms. He told me that during that time, the opportunities were currently closed. So they were not recruiting at that point in time. However, he told me that in the coming 3 months, there would be more opportunities. So he wanted me to pursue a Microsoft certification, data analyst certification, in order to showcase it to the company that I am a worthy candidate. So this was one of the most valuable tips that I got from another employer from Deloitte. So I just wanted to give a heads up to all the graduates. So getting a certification, getting certified actually puts you at the top of the pool of other graduates, because most of them would be having high grades, but most of them might not be having these certifications. So basically having this certification actually shows the potential employer that you are a trustworthy candidate and you are also passionate about the industry. So this is also what my current employer explained to me. I currently completed the Microsoft Data Analyst certification last Wednesday, and I'm also looking forward to completing another, I think, Azure data, Azure certification as well in the near future. So getting certified will be extremely helpful, and it really helps in order to get your foot into the job market. I never knew that connecting with people would make that big of a difference, and I realized this after joining your program. And the other thing is also your guidance, which is extremely valuable. In order to get that first opportunity, you need to follow a good strategy in order to get to the final point. However, I was not getting there. So after connecting with you, that was one of the key aspects which helped me in securing my first role. So I was struggling mentally a lot after completing my master's, and during that 3-month period from December to March, you have been with me. You have even called me, I think, twice in between when I was feeling a little low, which was really helpful, and I would really like to thank you for that. So this actually shows your dedication and motivation to help others, and these are all the positives that I would like to highlight. My final tips would be just stay focused and keep trying, because I have tried maybe 100 times and I was rejected each and every single time. I only got one offer, and that one offer is now making me feel really proud of myself. It motivates me each and every single day that I have a job. And the other tip that I would like to give to all the international students who are coming from other countries is that most of the people are really concerned about paying the fees and the money after coming here, paying bills and paying fees. So they normally start working part-time jobs, probably more than 20 hours per week, which could ultimately affect their studies and also their focus. So I would like to explain that staying focused for this particular two-year period or during that master's is extremely important. And I would also like to encourage more students to spend time on improving their skills and also getting certified even before graduating, because that could ultimately help them in landing their first offer. So these are a few of the tips that I would like to give to all the audience maybe listening to this. Thanks a lot, Mackenzie. I'd like to sincerely thank you for really helping me and making me achieve what I really wanted to do. Yes, thanks a lot for that.